CITC 2323 Lab 3.3 video. We'll be configuring site level fault tolerance. In this video, we'll be configuring and enabling HyperV Replication, and we'll be configuring replication for a VM. Let's go ahead and begin with exercise 10.1, configuring and enabling HyperV Replication. So in this exercise, we will enable HyperV Replication on the server 1 and server 2 HyperV host. So let's log into our server 1. From here, we'll be going into our server manager, tools, HyperV Manager. In the manager console, once it loads, we'll be right clicking our server 1 and choosing HyperV settings. In the HyperV settings dialog box, we'll be clicking replication configuration. Once it loads, of course, we'll be clicking to enable the computer as a replication server. So, okay. So, I guess I should fix this problem real quick. The server is part of a failover cluster. Use a failover cluster to change replication settings. Okay, so I went ahead and figured out the problem. So now the error is no longer there, and let's select enable this computer as a replica server. So let's click browse after that. Okay, so we'll be selecting use Kerberos and be leaving the default port selected. In the authorization and storage section, we'll be selecting allow application from any authenticated server, and we'll be browsing from there. From here, we'll be navigating to our C drive, and we'll be selecting VN replica folder. Well, actually, we'll be creating a new folder, and we'll be doing VM replica, and then we'll be selecting it afterwards. And select folder. From here, we'll be clicking OK, and configure the firewall to allow inbound traffic. Click OK. And now in the start menu, we're going to our control panel. In the control panel, click System and Security, and then click Windows Firewall. I'm going to be going to Advanced Settings. And the Windows Firewall with Advanced Security Console. Be clicking Inbound Rules. In the center pane, be right-clicking HyperV Replica HTTP Listener. And enable rule. Then we'll be closing the Windows Firewall. And then we'll be logging into our server 2 as the Contoso administrator. Okay, so once we have it loaded up, we'll be going to our HyperV Manager. Okay. So we're expanding it. Then we'll be right clicking and to HyperV settings. And we'll be clicking the same thing like we did last time, replication server. And probably the same problem. Yep. Failed with clusters. Fix this problem real quick again. Alright, so let's try this again. Enables computer as replica server. Use Kerberos. Allow replication from any authenticated server. Browse into this PC. And then we should be creating a new folder. Calling it VM. Replica. And select folder. Okay. And then we'll be clicking the start menu and control panel, which we have already open. System and security, Windows firewall, advanced settings, inbound rules, and down to the HyperV replica HTTP. Enable rule. And that will conclude our exercise 10.1. Let's go ahead and begin with exercise 10.2, configure replication for a VM. In this exercise we will continue with the last exercise by configuring the replication of a VM between two HyperV hosts. So on server 1 we'll be using HyperV Manager. So let's right click the first test VM and choose enable replication, which we don't have one made, so let's just make one real quick. Okay, so now that we have the VM created, we'll be right clicking and enable replication in the wizard. Next, and we'll be typing server 2 as our replica server. Well, do it this way. Actually, let's do it backwards. So we'll be going into our test VM on server 1, right clicking enable replication, and then for server 2 we'll just close it out. Next, and then we'll be going to our server 2 within server 1 replication. Next, and then verify the configuration. Next. And for the most part, just next. And finish. Then we'll go to the VM replica folder on server 2 and see if the server has been replicated after a few minutes, which it should be. I should have everything configured, right? And as you can see, it is replicated. And that will conclude our exercise 10.2, configuring replication for a virtual machine. And in review of this video, we configured and enabled HyperV replication and reconfigured replication for a VM.